Did you hear that?
Yeah, it just come up.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Feeling good, Josh?
Feeling pretty good. I shaved off my 4-week-old facial hair, so now I'm restarting the clock on that.
Dude, your chin looks like a baby's ass.
Okay, all right.
um,
That's not what. That's not. I wasn't fishing for that specific compliment, but yeah, all right. I'll take it.
and you know what else is really special today, man?
Mm.
It's our 10th episode.
It is our 10th episode, and it's been quite a ride of 10 episodes. What was it? 5 episodes in actually doing it at a table, then 5 episodes doing it. Wait, has it been 5 episodes doing Zoom? Maybe.
The last one we did was 6. Audition is blind.
6 before, and then 7. Yeah.
And we surpassed, or we thrived in person. We also thriving under a quarantine. So this is a mobile podcast, man.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Mm-hmm. Today, man, you might, if you're watching this on YouTube, you might be seeing a third screen that is not up yet. But man, we have a really special guest on today. His name is Evan Furlong. Not yet. Don't show yourself yet.
Jeez.
You can mumble along though, Evan, if you want. Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna go from the cuff on this one. He is a good friend of mine, and we met together when we used to work at a company, a VFX stereo company, and he actually really inspired me to pursue my own interests and pursue my own creative pursuits with this. You might know him from open mics, as he is a comedian, but you also might know him even more from his successful YouTube channel called Goalie Gab, where he basically gives a commentary and in the net as he's a goalie while playing hockey. He has a great comedic spirit and also great rhythmic timing, and he's a gem to note too at the same time. Josh, you also know him a few times too from your shows too, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you mentioned Evan previously, before, like when I just started doing some open mics, and saying like you had a friend that you knew from working together that was also doing it. I think I did one show with Evan that was like last November, but at that time I don't think we were actually properly introduced. But like we met a little bit after at one of, like, watching a hockey game with you there. And
stuff. Yeah, against the Canucks and Canucks and Leafs that we always do before.
Yeah. So it's been and I've seen him a couple times at your birthday and stuff like that. So I think we just did that one show. I don't think we've done anything together since then.
Sweet. Without further ado, I want to bring out the talented and amazingly creative Evan Furlong, our first guest. Yay!
Thank you, guys. Oh, you're too nice. Oh, man. Yeah, no, I remember the show that Josh was talking about. That was the show where it was one of those fresh comedy shows, and someone actually got their set cut short and thrown off the stage.
Oh, yeah. That was pretty awkward. Somebody definitely was trying to do some edgy material, but then it got a little too just shouting at people in the audience.
It was the wrong crowd for it, I think.
Yeah. So then he got like booed off pretty much.
Yeah, that was before your set, right? Because it was before my set, and it gave me like a nervous breakdown. What about you?
How many people were like, where were you right after him?
I was the last amateur comic to go up before the pros went. Yeah, so I had a while to wait around and just stew in that.
Right. Yeah, I was there. I think there were a couple more after that one guy, and then they had the intermission. Then when the intermission came back, I was maybe second up on that one. And yeah, that was the night I like fully bombed half my set. Like I started off pretty well for 2 minutes with material that like I had done before, and then I tried 2 brand new material minutes and stuff like that, and like you could see the difference between when I started and where I ended off. It was definitely the first bomb I had on stage.
Yeah, no, that was an intense night, and I remember because the guy who did the edgy material was like a white dude like me, and so after the intermission, Vaughn came up to me and he
Oh
said,
yeah.
"Look, so I think the crowd's kind of had it with straight white comedians, but we only have like 5 of the last 6 of you
Yeah.
guys are straight white comedians. So good luck."
Yeah.
And
He
I'm
just
like,
said good
"Thanks,
luck
buddy."
to throw you to the wolves. Just good luck. That's
Mm.
it.
Well, what else could he do, right?
Wow.
Like just try and make the best of a bad situation. But thankfully, I had brought out a lot of Mississauga moms from my neighborhood who were always looking to see me do stand up, and so thankfully they were in my corner.
Nothing better than the MM
Nice.
support bus, man.
Oh boy, nothing beats it.
Yeah, just one of our first questions that we have for you is, I mean, you already briefly touched upon it, but like, what was your path into comedy?
So my path into comedy, I mean, everyone had always told me that I should do stand-up comedy, and I'm like, oh, well, I don't know if that's really my thing, because I'd never been like a passionate follower of stand-up. I didn't really watch a whole lot of it or study it or really ever try my hand at it. I was always super into TV and TV screenwriting and stuff like that. That's kind of what I did when I was at school at Ryerson, and that's kind of what I was trying to pursue in my free time when I was making creative endeavors. But when I had the opportunity to sit in on a professional writer's room for a TV show, that I met a guy through my improv class, and he was like an actual like TV writer. And so he said, come to my room, like, you can hang out,
Nice.
and absorb whatever you want.
Yeah.
And so I did that for a few weeks, and it was amazing, like a sick experience. I still that's still my goal, to like get back to that. But when I was asking him like, what's a good way to like get in there? Because there's not ever going to be like a post on Indeed or LinkedIn saying looking for a comedy TV writer. It's not there.
Yeah.
So he said that a really good way to do it is through stand up, because that way you can kind of force people to like see your writing and show that you're funny. And so I was like, well, there you go. Right. And so I was stuck at that job that we were at, and the hours weren't really suitable for, having a creative outlet on the side.
Right.
I moved out of my parents' place. I got a job just as a Starbucks barista, and quit the old place, and just started hitting mics and took a couple of classes at Second City, and away we go.
Yeah.
And touching on that point though, like, when did you realize that you could make people laugh and that you were, legitimately funny?
Right. Well, I mean, I think I knew I was a funny guy ever since I was like a little kid, dancing at like my uncle's wedding or something like that, and just saying stuff and having like grown-ups laugh at your jokes. When you're like a kid, that's kind of like, whoa, that's kind of like a big moment, I think, in your life, is when you, I think, genuinely make an adult laugh as a child. You can kind of be like, oh wow, like I can do this, and I like it when I do this.
Yeah.
And so just to further that point, I definitely pursued that. I was always trying to be the funny kid in high school and stuff like that. And I think at one point I was just trying way too hard, and people were kind of like feeling bad for me, be like, oh god, because I was like, I don't get scared of bombing sets because I bombed through all of high school. But I think I've always known that I could be funny and that I can make people laugh, and it's just a pathological need. For me to do it.
Oh my god, Josh! I just realized I forgot the key off question.
Oh, the key off the question. Oh, right.
Oh my god,
the podcast question.
The podcast question. Should we?
Man.
Well, we can ask it at the end. We can ask it
at the very
ask it at the very end, and we can just slot it in there, eh?
Yeah.
Fix it in post.
In post. Who do you take us for? Conan O'Brien. So on that note, though, like, who do you take as some of your inspiration, and who do you really look up to in the comedy game?
Well, I mean, as I was mentioning before, I never really was like a student of the comedy game. I always kind of, I knew the big names, right? Like, you get introduced to Jerry Seinfeld at such a young age. Like, kids in my high school loved Louis C.K. Because he was so edgy, right? He was such an edgelord. And so when you're in high school and you just love all these, like, he's saying all the bad stuff. You love that. You love Dane Cook when he first came out. But now I find a lot of my inspiration comes from guys in the Toronto scene.
Oh, cool.
A lot of local comics are people that I really feel inspired and motivated by. Like a few names, obviously other than Josh Yang, would be
trying to butter up the host. I see.
Buddy, you're a superstar.
Thank you.
Nice.
I love Jennifer Shung.
Mm.
I think she's amazing. I love Bobby Summers. He's a good friend of mine, but also just a really funny comic.
Yeah, I remember doing a small show with him, and I remember his style was very clean. The writing was very clean, and it was very, very quick jokes. And
it is.
Yeah.
He's such a good writer too, and he can I've seen him go into a room that's completely dead and everybody's bombing, and he'll still do well.
Yeah.
And I can't believe it. And then the hosts get on stage after that, and they're just like, "Who are you?"
Wow.
The guy gets booked just because of he'll blow up a dead mic. It's amazing to watch.
Bobby Summers. Okay, I'll remember that name.
Check it out. He's got a little mini special out on YouTube.
Nice.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Cool.
He spells Bobby with an I, Bobbi.
Oh, cool.
So if you just type that in, you'll probably find it.
Nice.
I performed on that show that he was doing.
Nice.
Plugging myself. There's no footage of me, but I was there.
Sorry, where was it filmed?
The Cameron House.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Was it was he headlining, or was it
Yeah, he was headlining. He basically got the show together himself. He promoted and produced it and everything like that, and was kind of yes, this is for my web special kind of thing. Which
cool.
I'm like, yo, good idea, man. Do it yourself,
Yeah,
you've got a solid 10 minutes. Just do it.
That definitely feels like that's that's kind of the new mode, new way of putting comedy sets out there now. Not rely on, say, just having Just for Laughs or somebody recorded and then go through this entire process, when you can just put it on YouTube yourself and then see how well the content works on YouTube and just gain exposure that way.
Exactly.
Which is good. But yeah.
It's crazy seeing the more experienced comics in the scene being like, hey, I'm showcasing for JFL. And I'm like, how did you even get to that point? Did someone ask you, or do you just put in an application? I don't know how you even get to that point. And I've been doing this for a year now, and I still know so little about the comedy world, even in just in general, but in Toronto specifically. I don't know where to go.
I don't know either. I feel like from what I just understand, it seems like if you've been doing it enough, going to getting to a professional level and doing enough shows, where you just either somebody who's a professional who knows the bookers for those JFL showcases, and then somehow, as long as you get their contact information, you can maybe email them or try to contact directly or something like that. But of course, it feels like you definitely need some rep in that on the scene before you do something like that anyways.
Yeah, you kind of have to chalk up a little bit of cred just in the scene by just being relentless at shows and doing any show you want you can. And just being a good person, I think, probably goes a long way, because a lot of these people have to like you as a person as well to put you on their show. And so there's a lot that goes into it, I think. But in the most general sense, I think it's just be present, be good, be funny. And eventually things will fall into place.
Yeah, it really is dependent on timing, and then who and then sometimes things are just outside of your control, and you don't know exactly if things will go through, not go through. So there's definitely a certain amount of luck involved as well. From what I can tell. But yeah, so how you dealing with the whole kind of coronavirus quarantine?
Oh man, well, I'm not doing any shows anymore, that's for sure. I mean, there exists a few shows that are online and stuff like that, but for the most part, those feel like they're booked shows. They're shows that you can't just kind of sign up and go on like they used to be. And so I don't think I've established my name enough to warrant having a spot on a lot of these shows that people are paying for to watch on Instagram or something or on Zoom. So
yeah, it's also odd, especially if I think if you're newer to it. It's just the awkwardness of the medium of having to do a joke through through the computer, and then
through a screen,
not really getting what the response is. You can't really get a great authentic essentially reaction to it. But
say goodbye to crowd work.
Yeah, I know. It's I've definitely have been telling myself, well, now there's a lot of time, maybe I can start writing
Yeah.
more, sitting down and writing more, because I guess that's a little bit more my process. I know there's like a lot of comedians who are able to write on stage. Like, how would you say like your writing process, like how would you describe your writing process, and like how it's kind of been affected by, now that we're all just indoors?
Right. I mean, everyone's got a different writing process, I think. And so I don't have, like, no one taught me how to write, really. I just, whenever I think of something that I think is funny, whether it's through conversation or it's just like a right before bed thought.
Yeah.
If I have the presence of mind to write it down, I've got a folder in my phone. I just write down just like the most basic premise that I could imagine. And I just stick it there. And then it just kind of percolates in the back of my mind.
Nice.
If it's something I really like, or something that just like a lot of different ideas come in at once, I'll just start writing those down, like in addition to it. A lot of times I fine tune stuff and I work out the wording for my jokes in the shower.
Yeah.
I'll just be standing there and I'll just like fake a mic in my hand and just start going.
Yeah.
And I'll come out of that shower super pruny, like running, like, naked through my apartment, trying to like write it all down.
Yeah. I also find myself when like memorizing sets or getting the timing down, like doing it in the shower, where like I get in, if it's like a 5-minute or 7-minute thing, like, and I've worked out the ordering and whatever, like if I go in, start the shower, I start the set and I run through it, like if I'm able to end the shower at the end of the set or not, so I can like see if maybe that time it out to like a 10-minute shower or like a 7-minute shower, that kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, especially when you're just like you're doing something and your mind is kind of blank already, it's like just that process of running through it just as a routine I find is also pretty good.
Yeah. And I'm no scientist, but I like to think that it makes sense. If I say this, it makes sense. The hot water on your head, would that not dilate the blood vessels around your brain and help stimulate like funny thoughts? Could that be
interesting?
It's a thought, man.
Not too sure. Maybe. Then if that's the case, then comedians should be writing in the saunas and stuff.
Oh man, yeah, seriously. Just get real hot. Do something to like expand those veins around the brain.
Dude, I swear Joe Rogan probably has a bit about that, because all he ever talks about is hot yoga and saunas.
Yeah, right. Have you ever done yoga and like taken a bunch of DMT and then you just think of the best joke ever? Yeah, dude, I do that all the time. You should do it. That's my really bad Joe Rogan impression.
I like it though. I like it.
Joe Rogan. But yeah, so then in terms of like, I guess you're right, would you say you're more like what kind of jokes do you like writing? Do you like being more observational? Do you like telling more story? Is it more storytelling, or how would you describe it that way?
I think that I'm a bit of a mix. I haven't really been able to nail down exactly what I am as far as like a clear cut, like observational guy, or like an edgy guy, or like a storyteller. I like to tell stories. Some of my jokes are definitely stories, or they'll have narrative infused in them. And some of them are like observations. Like I have a joke that's like, why does society love rescue animals so much? Yeah. And then I'll use like a story that's totally true to kind of reinforce that and drive the point home.
Right.
But then I'll think of other jokes as well that are kind of just like one-liners about stuff that also can be kind of dark and edgy, because I like dark stuff. I don't consider myself like a dark person or someone who thinks like negatively, but for whatever reason, I get a real big kick out of kind of getting a bit of a shock laugh out of people. Yeah. You'll say something like, I can't believe he said that. That's so ridiculous. But also, holy shit, it's true.
Yeah. That's what I find.
I love that.
Yeah. That's what I find is the best about like comedians like Louis C.K. when he was, doing at the kind of top of his game and everybody was like on board with his style, was that he was able to take a really, shocking premise or like, put that idea out there in the audience and then manipulate that idea or your perspective of that idea into another point of view that then is like changes your perspective on it in a funny, clever way. Yeah. And that's definitely a style like I think it's hard. It's like one of the toughest things to do. But I think like if you're able to do it, there's that's like quality comedy if you're able to get that out there. Have you like felt like you got a few moments where you did a like kind of a darker, edgier joke that you really liked, and like you got a really good reaction out of it?
I mean, honestly, like earlier today,
Yeah.
or maybe yesterday, I got my dad, who doesn't really like the dark stuff. My
Yeah.
dad, he likes, and he loves Seinfeld. I mean, they're kind of dark, but they're like not that dark. And I was remarking about the quarantine thing, where I'm just like, do you think hobos know what's going on, or are they just like, where'd everybody go?
Yeah.
And it, like, my dad lost it for whatever reason. He just started laughing, and he couldn't stop. And then he's like, you can't say that. Like, you know, he's like, please don't like write that down. I'm like, oh, I'm writing it down. Thanks, Dad.
Oh, man. Yeah. See.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Lucas. Go.
No. I'm just wondering if they do have access to CP24, but I'm sure they do, though.
I'm not too. If they have access to CP224. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the like kind of the Canadian government thing where like they're giving people money in case
in
they
CRB. Yeah.
Can I get my emergency response benefit? I need it to buy a better trash bag. I don't know. Not to rip on the homeless people. I was just like in the neighborhood. I was checking in on my local bums to see if they're still with us. And
I mean, I think those are the type of like prompts where like you put an idea out there where it's like I don't think a lot of people would think about that situation right now, even though it is like actually a thing worth considering. Like how are these homeless people going to be like
exactly
affected or taken care of in this situation? Like how's that even like, are they going to be an afterthought? And then like you could take that idea was like, do the homeless people even realize what's going down, break it down some more, and then break it into like more of a observation of like how society and stuff like that.
And heighten, as they
say. Yeah. Like I had an idea similarly along like homelessness, whereas like I think homeless people are just, they have to be inherently good because they do have the option of committing crimes. Right?
Yeah.
Like homeless people can just commit crimes if they want to and then get put in a better situation. Like they would be put in a jail in a like with a roof over the head and they get fed, which would be inherently like, if you initially think of it, would be a better situation. But like that's always an option. Like a homeless person could always just commit a crime and that happened, but they choose not to because they're inherently good.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. I mean, I don't want to, I think about it sometimes. Like if I was a homeless person, what would I want to do? Would I rather be out on the street where obviously you're in danger? It doesn't matter who you are. Like, you're like bad things can happen to you. Like you might get mugged by another homeless guy. You know, apparently I've heard this. They have turf wars.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I was like, hey, you're begging on my block. Get the hell out of here. Like,
I've heard different like anecdotes and stories about like homeless people not wanting to receive like really good things, like getting like a nice pair of boots or whatever, out of fear that another homeless person will mug them for the better like things that they might have on them. And that's definitely like a really tough situation, but it then lends to like the thought process where, you know, like in the end they like there's, even though there is the option to like say do something bad, like probably there's different cases and stuff, but like that was an idea I had. It might be worth kind of delving into, you know, not only from an empathetic, but from like an internal point of view, like how would you approach it yourself? That kind of thing. But
I love thinking about homeless people.
Yeah. So then like in terms of your experiences on stage, have you had like one standout moment that was like really positive, and then you had like one standout moment that was like really bad?
Man, I think, I mean, every time I go on for an open mic, it feels like it could be a bad experience because you're trying out stuff and you try and stay logical with yourself. Be like, look, it's just, I'm in a room full of other comedians. It's late at night. They're not going to pay attention to me. I'm trying new material that I've never tried before. If this bombs, like, don't feel bad about it. But then you end up doing it. It'll bomb. And you still kind of get off the stage being like, man, that sucks. Like, why am I doing this? But then it always gets like, you know, if you get onto a book show, you can like, you know, try and get as many of your friends to come out. But I always find book shows to be so rewarding that, you can do really well, and that's such a big plus. I think my big standout moment on a positive side was the one time that I did the amateur night at Absolute Comedy.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
I was so nervous.
Yeah.
I was just like, I could barely eat. I get there. I'm just like, I hope they have a bathroom kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I get there and there's like 100 people in the room. I'm like, holy shit, this is probably like proud of every time. Like it's a
they're
popular
amateur
night.
nights. Yeah, those are definitely good crowds in terms of size for sure.
Yeah, they're insane, right? So I'm there. I'm like there for like 10 minutes. I'm in the bathroom just having crazy diarrhea. Just all nerves, which is actually like par for the course for me. Like before like big hockey games when I was a kid, I would be like, I gotta go use the water. And I would run off and do that. It's like sometimes your body like responds in that way and you just can't handle it, but you just got to do it. I had 2 friends show up. I promoted that show so hard because I'm like, this is a big show. I had 2 friends show up and it went really well. You know, like all of that, all those nerves and all that dread that to it was, you know, I watched the one of my buddies filmed the set and I watched it back and I'm like, you can see that I'm nervous, but I'm getting laughs. And so it ended up being really rewarding. And then the guy who was like headlining the show, who was like a legitimate pro from like the States, came up to me and he said, good shit. And like props me. I'm like, yo, like, not a big deal.
Nice.
I would say the standout negative moment, like if I had to pick one bad moment from my year of stand-up, might be another book show that I did. And there's nothing against the show itself. Like I'm not going to name names or anything like that, but it was like a show that was like a book show. I'd been to it before, and it's like, you know, it doesn't really bring in that many people, even though it is like an actual book show.
Yeah.
You know, they don't pay you, they don't or anything like that, but like your name gets put on the flyer. You get to promote it to people. It's a free show, but like, you know, it kind of carries that, you know, a little bit of extra status that, you know, you have to be asked, you know, asked to, you know, get on the show kind of thing. I go there. And I had a bunch of people say that they were going to come. And then every single one of them at the last second said, nope, sorry, can't make it. Sorry, couldn't get out of work in time, blah, 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 all those stuff, right? Comedian problems. I'm sure
that happens.
The exact same thing, right? Where you have like 4 or 5 people come in. And that's why I hate bringer shows, because that happens all the goddamn time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's just to a certain extent. Like I ended up having to like strategically plan which friends to ask to come to certain things. You know, like plan out your book shows, because you don't want to constantly ask the same people to come out and see you over and over again. Yeah. And then if they're not able to make it like one time, and there's like harping on them, because nobody wants to really be harped on to come out and see your amateur comedy per se.
Yeah, I mean, they're hearing the same jokes over and over again. They're not.
Yeah, exactly. That true. Yeah, that too. And it's like you just end up having to really strategize who you can approach. And even then, you know, everybody's busy. Most of these book shows are like on the weekdays, and like nobody's able to really come out.
Yeah, it's like a Wednesday night at 7:30, like in Liberty Village. Be like, yeah, sure, like I'll try.
I'll try, but it's like, you know, it's like it really is a thing where it's like somebody would really. I feel like it still feels like a thing where you have to kind of go out of your way to really actually go to these shows if like you're bringing people, because you know, it's the end of the day, everybody's working. Sometimes people just want to go home and like relax and stuff. So yeah, bringer shows, it's tough to get those brought.
Yeah, but, getting people is probably the hardest part out of everything. I've always said this to people, is like the hardest part about being a comedian is not like people saying, oh, tell me a joke, or it's not bombing a show. It's getting people to come to bringer shows.
Yeah, organizing people to come to see. But yeah, no. So what happened during that night?
I bombed. It was terrible. There was like 7 people there. They were all there to see like their one friend doing comedy for the first time. They laughed all at his jokes, right? And I found that every single other comedian completely ate shit, and they would only ever laugh at that like any comedian. They would only ever get a laugh if they reacted to the audience's lack of reaction. You know, they would tell the joke, there would be nothing, and they'd be like, well, what? That wasn't good enough for you? And then they would laugh.
Oh, man. Sympathy laughs?
That's interesting. Huh.
Man.
Yeah, was that the show go ahead. No, I was just thinking.
Was that the show at Liberty Village Cafe?
Yeah.
No, just wondering.
Wait, Lucas, were you there? Wait,
No,
did you
no,
go
No,
to
he
those
couldn't
shows?
make it,
I
unfortunately.
couldn't make it that night.
Had a hard time to do
So
it.
Lucas
Yeah.
was the culprit in that one.
Lucas has seen
One,
me one
yeah.
time, I think.
Mm.
Twice.
What was the other time? You saw me the one time at the Spaghetti Factory that I bombed that one.
And then club whatever. It was the first time I met Vong there.
Oh, bar 120 bar.
Yeah, there was a number in the that one.
A 120 diner.
120
Is that
Diner.
one?
That's what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
I also met
okay.
your mom that night too. by the
Oh
way.
wow! Shout out
Yeah.
to Erin.
Yeah.
She comes to a decent amount of my shows. God bless her.
Uh-huh.
Oh man.
I'm gonna skip the next two questions because I think we already touched upon that. But just right now we're in this quarantine time. But outside of this pandemic really messing up your schedules and everything, like what would be a normal day for you in terms of prepping for new content and creating content? What would you be doing?
Okay, so like a regular day for me, like outside of the pandemic, at least, if things were going swimmingly, I usually would end up waking up like at like 4 or 5 something in the morning, because I work at Starbucks, and so we're opening real early. So I usually end up working a shift first thing in the morning, just get that out of the way, and then I would go back home. I'd be done maybe like anywhere between like 9 to 1 p.m. And so I think after that, you settle in a little bit. You work over, depending on what shows are coming up, what you're planning on doing, you'll work on something like that. Like I usually, when I'm constructing sets that I want to do, especially if it's like an open mic and I want to do new stuff, you try and sandwich it between stuff that you know is good.
Yeah.
I found and just through talking to other comedians too, they like doing a thing where they'll open with a joke that they know is good, and then they'll try some of the newer stuff and see how that goes. And then if it doesn't go well, it's especially smart to kind of bring back a joke that you also know is decently good to end off like on a high note. But if I'm not doing that, I'll be working on my my YouTube channel, Goalie Gab. I am not good at editing, so it takes me a while to work on those in the meantime, and I try and keep that pretty scheduled. I try and release an episode every single Sunday at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And so it forces me to work on it rather than just kind of like shoot out videos whenever I feel like it. It's obviously a little bit different now in the pandemic, but I was on a roll at the start of 2020 there.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, it's pretty impressive. I'm looking at your YouTube channel. You have like 1.9 thousand. I was gonna say million for a second. I saw
we're getting there.
Well, yeah, 1.9 thousand subscribers. You seem to be doing like pretty consistently, like over 1K, 2K views. Like, can you describe like the basic premise for your YouTube channel?
So the entire YouTube channel, actually, I have to throw out the dude who got me into his writer's room.
Nice.
Was also a big part of, the brain trust that became what Goalie Gab is today. Because I was telling him about how, like, what he was like, what are things that you like? I'm like, I like comedy. I like being a goalie. He was like, what if? And the original idea was to like get a film crew. Like, I went to school for media, so I have friends who can do audio and video and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Get a bunch of people to like film me playing hockey. Like, just rent out some ice and like have like a game of shinny. And then after that, I just cut all the action shots up into like 30-second clips. I do voiceovers in post and then just post them onto Instagram. And I'm in like a couple of different Facebook groups that are like very goalie centric. And so I have access to like 25,000 plus goalies and goalie adjacents and goalie fans on social media. And so he's like, that's a great audience. Like you have like, there's an audience for any kind of stuff. And there's goalie YouTubers, but none of them are like funny, I guess. And or their main goal of the channel isn't to be funny. They could be funny, but it's like it's a byproduct. It's not the main goal of the channel. So I thought that was a niche that had been untapped. And what it ended up becoming on my own is just because of financial constraints and not wanting to have to do more than one of those filming things. I thought it would be a cool idea. Sometimes hockey teams will mic up their goalies during like development camps, and they'll get some funny little tidbits out of it. So I thought if I could just mic myself up during one of my beer league games and I just say the things that I was already thinking and then cut those up into videos, that could be funny.
Yeah.
And so I just started doing that. So it's basically like I'm improvising a stand-up set almost while I'm playing hockey.
Nice.
All the commentary is live. Like I'm not adding anything in afterwards.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah, I've started doing a Q&A in between the first and second period. Obviously, that's done afterwards. Just whip out my phone. This question comes from... But it's been going really well.
Yeah, dude.
I had a couple of random shout-outs. Just one of them was from a somewhat prominent goalie YouTuber, this guy named VO Goalie, who's a guy who's based in Boston. And he just made a video about like 5 goalie YouTubers to watch out for. And he named...
Nice.
I had like maybe 300, low 300s in subscriber count at that point, and that was maybe in like November. And like for whatever, I was at a show at the Social Capital, and I was just like checking my phone. I was just getting like a bunch of subscribers. I'm like, where's that coming from? And I found out like the next day that I was getting shouted out in this video.
Oh, nice,
and then another time I got kind of a bit of traction on hockey Reddit.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Also gave me a big boost. And so those are the 2 big points of my career right now. I guess that has led me to the nearly 2,000 subscribers and a fairly like
nice,
robust following, I suppose, on hockey goalie YouTuber.
That's good, man. Like I think that's really important as well in terms of like establishing what, you know, your core audience is, and then being able to connect with that core audience, and then knowing that response like is good to the content you're putting out there. I think that's definitely like half the battle of like figuring out what is going to work or what isn't going to work. And like I totally understand the mic'd up concept, and it seems like, because a lot of, especially with us, you know, you take an idea and then work with what you have or what's best available to you. And in the end, sometimes it really comes out better than you thought it would be. Like like if you think about it, the like breaking it down to just being mic'd up and maybe putting it like on a single shot, like that might just be the simplest but it's most effective way as well of, you know, getting what you want out there. So it's pretty good. It looks pretty good, and it's growing pretty well. Do you have any like kind of plans now that you see you have a decent subscriber base? Are you thinking of expanding to something else? Or
Well, I mean, I'm definitely I've got some ideas for like progressing the channel as far as that's concerned. The pandemic's kind of thrown a wrench in that because, you know, I can't play hockey. Canceled. So in the meantime, I've got some ideas for stuff that I can do. I just put out like a couple of best of episodes, which, you know, they kind of flopped. Like, I mean, like, you know, you're just showing people the stuff that you've already done before. It's a good way for people who are new, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes those are pretty good, especially if you just string them along together. Like there's I feel like there's a bit of that social media like quick hit. Like you get one good, you know, joke clip out there, and then it just follows up by another one and another one and another one. I think sometimes those compilations do pretty well. I think that's all, especially if like you aren't able to do any new content right now.
Absolutely. And like, you know, it was also interesting to go through all those older episodes, and a lot of them are just kind of bad, you know, because a lot of it was just like me talking, and I really had I had a few like visual cues along the episodes, but now I load them up with like visual and sound effects to really like emphasize and improve and enhance the viewing experience. But those old ones were really tough. But one of the big ideas that I have for the channel going forward is I don't know if you guys have ever watched the NHL All-Star Game. Like I stopped like years ago because they kind of are boring. But one thing that they did do back in the day, during the games, they would have the goalies mic'd up, but they would have it in such a way that they could actually hear and communicate with the commentators.
Oh yeah.
So you could interview Carey Price while he's playing in the All-Star Game. And so he'd be talking and be like, oh wait, hold on for a second. And then he would make a save. And then he would go back to like talking with them. And I thought that's the coolest thing ever. I would love to have like a guest come on to the show where they're just sitting in the stands on like a phone call. And so he's mic'd up, I'm mic'd up, we're talking while I'm playing the game.
Yeah, that's solid. I think that's a solid, especially, and then if you're able to get like another comedian on there to do it, like you can make jokes and stuff around that.
Yeah, so I'm building context not only in the hockey world but in the comedy world, and so I want to you know, mix and match a little bit there, get some comedians, get some other goalies. Like if I'm lucky one of these days, I could get like a big name in like the hockey world or the comedy world to like come on and do it. But, that's pie in the sky, right?
True. You could totally do that. Yeah. Oh, that's solid. That's a solid idea.
Thank you.
Do you have like a specific moment that like out of all of the games that you did and the, you know, the different shots and the quips you throw out there, did you have one that's like your favorite?
Well, there's one quip that I threw out there, like, because a lot of times, like, you know, when you're trying to like be physically active and engaging in a game, but at the same time you're trying to like say something funny.
Yeah.
Things get a little jumbled up, and so I was meant to say something about how a guy like applied too much heat or something came in too hot, and those two phrases kind of smashed into each other, and I ended up saying,
did it?
Whoa. Oh no, you lost it.
You lost it. You lost the samp. I said
too hot.
It was too heat, actually.
Too heat.
Too hot. It was too heat.
It was too heat. Oh, so you just yelled at him as they swerved
too
off.
Heat.
It's like too heat.
Too heat. Too heat.
Too heat.
So
I got it.
I said
too heat.
Yeah,
that actually sounds more like me, actually.
I know.
I said too heat, and I kind of made a joke about it, and then I started bringing it back just kind of like as a joke hashtag, but it caught on a little bit, and I would actually see it on like other goaltending YouTubers' videos.
Yeah.
Like people would comment too heat on stuff, and I'm
that's
like, yo,
funny.
That's sick. So that's something that's caught on a little bit, you know, and I try and I haven't been saying it as much recently, but like, you know, when I can, I'll try and do that. And I have an idea for like, if I ever did like a merch design, I would want to get too heat on there and stuff.
Yo, that's what you got to do. It's all about the merchandise.
Yeah, you got to market it good.
Yeah.
Sorry, just one more time for the listeners, though.
Too heat.
Yeah, baby.
Nice.
Oh, man.
So previously, before all of this, Evan the comedian, Evan the Goalie Gab creator and everything like that, you were at a VFX company beforehand. Was there, like, it is a pretty big point for you to, you know, it was a better paying job and everything like that. And stability wise, it was all there too. But what really made you want to do that switch to go from a well-paying, stable position to the instability of going into comedy?
Well, I mean, you don't want to talk bad about your old job, but a lot of it had to do with just the way that it took over my life, you know? And I liked that I was working sort of like in the field that I'd studied, right? You know, you go to school for media, you want to work in media, especially when so many of the people in my program ended up going in a different direction, whether or not because they couldn't find work there or because they weren't passionate about it. But, you know, when you're working there, just these long hours and, you know, it's like the actual content. I'm not a big VFX guy. Like I'm not really huge into it. So, and it ended up becoming a little bit more different than I thought it was going to be once I got there. It's a lot of Excel. It's a lot of just kind of running the same kind of programs over and over and over again. It's pretty tedious. And then when you're getting into those crunch times, you're working like 10, 12 plus hours a day.
I hear you, bro.
There'd be like, I mean, I was like, when I was working with Lucas, I was a lowly PA. So I would always be the first one sent home. It'd be like 9 or 10 p.m. They'd be like, okay, Evan, you can go. And I'm like, see you later, suckers. And Lucas is like looking at me. He's like clawing at me, like, take me with you.
Yeah.
And so, you know you're not passionate about it. It's taking up time. So, you know, I had to stop taking the improv classes that I was taking, which was a shame because that was really good for me, I thought. I had to miss the odd hockey game, which at the time I was just playing it for pleasure and you know, physical exercise. And, you know, there's a few other things, you know, with stuff that was going on. Developing feelings for a coworker. Just makes you want to get out of there. Just makes you want to get out of there.
Lucas, do you know about this? Did you know
I
about
do,
this?
but she also doesn't listen to this thing, so
I don't know if you know.
I
don't know that.
Time to dish.
I don't want to name names, but she was just someone who was on the team with me and Lucas. I mean, Lucas and I. And I never said anything, but I bet you she kind of got the vibe eventually, right? She probably did. I don't know. I'm not very good at hiding my feelings.
always good to take that, bottle it up, and then write it out. Write it out into like a script or like a character.
Or a sappy journal post. I should have written a blog.
Yeah.
That was your Master of None moment right there.
That was pretty much it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it didn't end up working out, which is fine. I'm totally over it. But, you know, there was a contributing factor, I think, for me wanting to get out of there.
Oh, yeah.
And I had this passion. I wanted to do it, and I didn't see any other way to, like, do it other than just jumping right in. And I had the support of my parents when I told them that this was something I wanted to do. So I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to, pardon my French, I'm just going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
I know. Swearing on a podcast. Wow.
Sometimes well, I mean, Lucas and I have already established consistent swearing throughout here, so we're good. We're all
fucking
good.
A.
Fucking right.
There you go. Fuck.
Yeah, my parents are gonna watch this.
Oh really? Oh, shout out to Bill and Aaron then.
Shout out Bill and Aaron. They're the best. Thank you for supporting my dreams. This is what it comes down to. I get asked on podcasts now. Which is the dream. That's my Facebook bio is I will appear on your podcast.
Yeah. I feel like right now, in terms of the amateur comedian community, it's a lot of everybody does. It's like it feels like everybody does have to put out a podcast themselves to try and gain some traction, gain an audience, and then everybody goes on each other's podcast to try
you gotta
cross-pollinate.
Get as many streams as possible, right? You know, millionaires are always saying have multiple streams of income. It's the same thing with comedy. Have multiple streams of funny. You know, you can't just do open mics and stand-up shows. You got to be, you know, a writer. You got to have a YouTube channel. You got to have a podcast. You got to do all kinds of shit. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. Got to put it out there.
Yeah.
Finally, the last question that I do have for you, because I don't want to talk too much about the former, because, you know, right now this is about Evan, the creator right now.
Oh,
Tyler the creator, Evan the creator. I just realized that.
Evan Almighty the creator.
Evan the creator is written down somewhere in the Rogers Communication Center at Ryerson.
By you?
I wrote it, with paint on a wall in.
Really?
Like a props room. I wrote Evan the creator. Yeah.
More of since you're a year into this game right now, you've had experiences, good and bad, and everything like that, and it helped you grow as a person and everything like that. Would you have any advice for anyone who may want to go into comedy?
Don't be a pussy. No, I mean, well, there's that. But you know what? I think that it's important that you don't get discouraged right away, because there are going to be times where you're leaving a show, because no one knows you, right? And it's like any other workplace, right? It's like people will say that it's, you know, it's different, right? And it is different in a lot of ways, but you still have to network. You still have to meet people and build those relationships in a professional sense. And so the first few shows that I've done, I was like, you know, you wait until 1 a.m. It's crazy. You know, it was like, I thought I was 9th on the list, but you just get bumped down because people will put their friends, they'll put pros, they'll put you know, for me, they'll put more diverse people ahead of me, and you just have to fucking eat it. You have to deal with it. And it's hard at first. You know, you leave, you feel like garbage, right? You're like, why did that happen? Why did I end up not going on? You wait around for 4 or 5 hours, your ass is sore to do 5 minutes to 4 people, you bum, and you go home. It's like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And it's important to not get discouraged. I think if you believe in yourself, and I think if you are funny and you are gracious and you are just, you know, you're a good sport about that kind of stuff, you will eventually start seeing some success. You'll start making friends in the scene, and then they'll have shows, and then they'll put you on their shows, or you you know, they're hosting an open mic and they won't bump you down to second last on the bill, and you'll get to move up, and you'll start to see those improvements happening. And it's the same thing with YouTube too, right? I mean, you put out those first few videos, it's going to be to resounding silence.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, the YouTube algorithm works in weird ways. And so it's about being consistent. You know, you consistently go to shows, you consistently put out episodes, and you know, the algorithm will eventually, the algorithm on YouTube or the algorithm of life, you know, it just starts working in your favor. People who work hard and are consistently working hard and putting out good content will be rewarded for it. And so it's all about consistency. And it's about taking it in stride and not getting too down on yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, I know you've started doing it for about a year now.
Yeah.
I think I remember hearing one of your goals was to try and get an agent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How was that process for you? Has it like where are you at in that process?
Where am I at in that? I've fallen a little bit behind on that just because I think Goalie Gab started seeing some success, and then this pandemic thing started happening, and so I ended up falling a bit on the back burner. But what I do have is like all my materials put together for a sizzle reel, like, or a demo reel that you can send to agents. I've got a list of recommendations from people, including Lucas, of agencies and specific agents.
Yeah.
You know, you just kind of ask around. You know, if you have an actor friend, you ask them. If you have a friend who has an actor friend, you ask them if you can meet them. You know, just have these meetings with people, buy them drinks, and then you learn.
Oh yeah.
And then, you know, so I mean, I've kind of dropped the ball on it, but there's so much going on right now. I think that this is going to be, and you know what? There's always going to be agents.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much longer I'm going to look beautiful, but
keep the handlebar mustache. I have a strong feeling that'll help you.
I'm looking for the
feeling is boom.
Get on the Sons of Anarchy tribute series.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, I mean, that's all part of the, you know, try to make it, and like, you know, we made this podcast to try and also document our road, our journey throughout it. Of course, it's all same thing. You know, we've hit a bit of a standstill right now with everything going on. But you know, we always ask that question because when it comes down to it, everybody has their own perspective on making it. So we always like to ask. So far we've only asked ourselves this, Lucas and I, but you're the first person who we're gonna ask this outside of just the two of us. But Evan, have you made it yet?
Absolutely not.
All right.
Have you guys made it?
Nope. But what we're looking for is eventually, hundreds of episodes down, maybe one of us will say, I feel like it feels like we're making it a little bit, but
recording the podcast from the Hollywood Hills. You know, I think I might have made
it. maybe, but either way, it's like, you know, for us at this stage, it's going to be no. But I think what is interesting would be to get your opinion on like what you at this stage, like what do you think? What is your goal for making it? Like, what would you say? What's the pinnacle of like you feel like you've reached this, you've done this, you can say confidently to yourself you've made it.
Right. And you know what? I've actually given this a lot of thought ever since you guys started putting out these episodes. I follow you. Cool. I've been watching. Yeah. Great stuff, guys. So I think about it now. Like, what would making it be for me? Because there's people out there who are, you know, they're career stand-up comics, but they're not. Yeah. They make enough money to like survive. They by no means live lavishly or anything like that. But those people are happy because they're doing what they want to do and they're getting paid for it. They don't have to do anything else. And so is that making it? If I end up in that space, does that mean I've made it? Or do I have to be like, you know, in movies and TV shows and getting asked to be on like late night talk shows and doing, you know, getting to be, you know, invited to fun parties after the Emmys or something like that.
Oh man. Yeah.
I mean, that's really making it. But if that's not in the cards for me, if comedy in general is not in the cards for me, I don't know. Like, what is making it? I think if I'm someone who is looked at as someone who can make someone's day better, then I think I've made it, right? And if I want that to be, you know, widely known, I don't want that to be like, well, if my mom thinks that, I mean, she already does think that.
Right.
If I could gain the recognition of, I don't want to put a number on it, but if you want, you know, to be noticed and known as someone who can just make someone's day better, then for me, that's making it, you know, whether or not that's everyone in the world or if that's just everyone in Toronto or everyone in Ontario, like whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll know until I'm there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I feel like even sometimes when you see a lot of the history or interviews with different artists, like some huge artists, even if they were to say is like their driving force is, you know, they got a number one hit or they got a number one in box office, but like they like in terms of whether or not they feel like they've made it, like I feel like that goalpost always moves a little bit because once you get there, you never really realize if that's really what it is or what it isn't. You know, I mean, like, fair. I mean, even right now, I feel like just looking at, say, like the YouTube channel, right? Like if you're going off of maybe your idea of like, if I can make somebody's, day a bit better, or just like it's known amongst like your goalie community, the two heat, that's already just like a joke that seems to have caught on, and that's already making people in that community, enjoy your content. So every time you put something out there, it's like making it in that environment and stuff like that. So
yeah, I guess that's where like ambition comes in too, right? Because like I couldn't have expected, 1 year into it to have, even the modest success that I'm having. The channel's making like a little bit of money. Like I got monetized.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you. A few months ago, or like a month or two ago, it got monetized.
Yeah.
I made like $60 off of it.
Ooh, nice. Is it like $60 like in total in a month, or?
Yeah, like I think I got monetized like right at the start of March, and so I've just been tracking how much I've made since then, and it's based off of like per 1,000 views. And so since each video only gets right now on average 1,000 to 2,000 views, I'm making like $5 to $8 per video.
Nice.
Which is, it's fine. Obviously I want to do more. It's pushing me to do better and to get bigger.
Yeah.
Because, for me, like when I first started, man, if I could get 1,000 subscribers, that's making it. And now that I've got the 1,000 subscribers, if I could just get monetized, that would be making it. Now I've monetized. It's like, I want to, like, if this pandemic wasn't kind of throwing a wrench and everything, like, and maybe this is still the goal, I want to get to like 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year and see if because it just starts building, right?
For sure. No, I mean, like, it definitely feels like it could be. I mean, the goalie community, I think, just in and of itself is, I imagine just the goalie position on a hockey team, is like the people who are goalies is such a unique mindset, unique position to the rest of the team.
We're unique people.
Yeah, that like you almost only understand each other, and it's like if you're within that community, just you get each other on a different level than people who are not goalies or whatnot. So I think that's a very interesting market to tap into, and then like as it expands and stuff like that, I think that definitely has a good.
And it's got some crossover appeal too, because goalies do carry that air of weirdness about them, and that if you've played competitive team sports, you've always known a goalie because you've had one on your team. So even if you aren't yourself a goalie, you can at least relate to being like, oh, you're just like my goalie. I've had people from like the UK be like, I don't even play hockey, I play soccer. I swear to God, all goalies are the same.
Nice.
It's true.
That's interesting.
Luongo is such a weird guy, man.
Oh man, I love Bobby Lou. He's one of my faves.
He's definitely I think he's definitely one of the best hockey Twitters out there.
Yeah.
Like
for sure.
He killed the Twitter game.
Him and Paul Bissonnette are just like 1-2, I think.
Yeah. Oh man, I still remember when it was like when people were still confused if Strombone 1 was actually him.
Yeah, that was that thing too. He had anonymity.
Yeah, that was so weird. Like people would go up to him like in after game interviews or whatever, post interviews, and they'd be asking him, he's like, "Are you Strombone 1?" And he's like, "Oh no, I don't know." It's like he would never confirm it, and then just still for the long period of time, people would think he's like the things he was tweeting was so on the dot, so like behind the scenes, in like it's under. In its subtext that is like it must be him, or it's like who is this person?
Yeah, so clearly him, but he would never admit it.
Admit it. Yeah, it was so great.
He's the best.
Evan, since we are almost at an hour's time, we should wrap this up soon. What are your handles, and what would you want to plug?
Yes. So, both of my Instagrams, just my personal Instagram, which I kind of use for my comedy, is just my name, Evan Furlong. It's public. And then there's Goalie Gab on Instagram, would be goalie_Gab. On TikTok, it's just Goalie Gab. Yeah, I've got in the TikTok game.
You got to get in there. That's the next platform.
You got to get in there. I'm posting the same clips, but
that's what you got to do. You got to put it like if you already got them, if you got the content there ready to go, then put them
exactly.
Right
you just
there.
Drop them in there too, and then obviously the main thing is on YouTube. Check out Goalie Gab on YouTube. All you have to do is just type in Goalie Gab, and you'll probably get me. There's also like a 12-year-old kid from Quebec who's like a AAA goalie. He's so much better than me. But like I think it just because in Quebec, like Gabriel is actually pronounced Gabriel, and so instead of Gabe, they would be Gab. And so
Okay, yeah.
he's, and I guess because they also mix words up, instead of Gab the goalie, it's Goalie Gab. And so there's a Goalie Gab, but he's like a 13-year-old kid who plays AAA in Quebec, and he's sick.
Wow.
And he's got way more subscribers than me. Don't click on him. He's a hack. He doesn't say a damn word during his videos.
That's funny.
Check me out though.
Yeah.
Cool logo.
Awesome.
Cool.
We'll have everything in the description
Absolutely,
of the YouTube video.
yes.
We'll be sure to get that
Thank you
right.
so much for having me on, guys. This was a blast. Love you.
No, thanks for being our first guest and you know giving us a different perspective on another area of like content creation, comedy. Definitely from a goalie. Like I don't think I know anybody who's really playing in beer league or anything like that. So it's always good to get different perspectives and stuff like that.
Absolutely. So. Yeah. Comedy can be found anywhere. You just have to go look for it or put it there yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
All right.
You want to throw out your handles, Josh?
Well, for me, it's at Josh Yang Comedy across Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and then Lucas.
You can find me at Lucas John Ing on Instagram and on Facebook. I only have those two social media platforms.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's
your phrase again? What's your phrase again?
Is that what we were doing?
Oh, it's fist bump.
I think what he was doing is like that. This whole episode was
2 Heat.
Yeah,
there you
got it to work.
That's
awesome.
2 Heat. Yeah. Don't forget. Then, therefore, because this episode is 2 Heat, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Have We Made It Yet podcast, as well as the Instagram and Facebook HWMIY podcast. Have We Made It Yet podcast. And then go from there. Yeah, we'll probably try to get some more people on the show in terms of kind of guest interviews moving forward, and so keep that going consistently. But that's I guess that's the end of episode 10.
Yeah. Thanks again so much.
Now. Thank you so much for having me, boys.
All right.
It's been a blast.
Great.
All right.
Cool.
Ending
Have
the
a good night,
recording.
guys.
Have a good night. Stop.